Everybody, welcome back. Thank you. 201 and 105. Mulberry, created by Toma. Here on the side. Thank you for coming to see all parents of the show. We wanted to just give people, since this is the bullets that the room has been, all evening, and you'll probably start making your ways towards Thanksgiving. I wanted to give parents a chance to just address each wall, and thank you, as well as I'm thanking you for participating, coming by, and if you were in the photographs as well. But Clarence, yes. Hey.
So about 8.5 years ago, I came down with cancer and of the throat, stage 4. And I went through the whole treatment, chemo, radiation, all that. And it put a kind of pause on my prior career as a fashion photographer. And so when I got out of the treatments, I was at a loss as how to proceed, what to do next. And for financial reasons, I had to take a roommate, and who ended up being a professional skater.
Oh, y'all see where this is though.
And so we sat down together. He also had been a photographer for a while. And I showed him a book of Richard Avedon's In the American West, which was kind of a photo book, my first photo book ever I saw, and always stuck with me as never ceased to impress me. And so I said, hey, this is sort of what I have in mind. I'd like to do some of these along these lines. And it struck me as just gold in terms of casting. I started taking portraits of them weekly, as much as I could, really. And that's some of the ones I took. And I'm still taking them, actually. Eventually, some years later, or actually about a year later, this thing happened. Cardiac arrest at home. Long story short, I came out of it okay, except there to cut off my dominant arm. And initially I wasn't sure I could still shoot, but it turns out I still can. And so I gravitated towards tattooed people, started going to tattoo conventions, motorcycle rallies. Some of the results you see in here. And then currently I work as a guard at the Met. And these are some of my colleagues. And it's an ongoing body of work to be expanded.
So these are very intimate and open portraits.
Thank you.
And that's not easy to do, to approach people in that way, you know. How do you approach people? First of all, what characteristics draw you to certain subjects? And then how do you proceed from there?
Well, initially when I started with the skaters, being a friend of this renowned professional skater helped me a great deal, because he would make introductions. Mm-hmm. And then once I had built up a bit of a body of work, he stopped coming with me. I started printing these books, which are also for sale, should you be so inclined.
The prints are on sale too. The sign.
Anyway, so having these books helped me a great deal with the kids. Like they saw they could be a part of this. That was a huge tool in then sort of breaking them in. And still is to this day, especially once I had like Tony Hawk. Whoa, Tony Hawk. For other numerous.
So for those of us who don't know, Tony Hawk is
it a real bit? He's like the Jimi Hendrix of skateboard.
Yeah.
I started as an assistant at Paris for a renowned big shot kind of guy, Paul Versi. Big name. Helped me a great deal when I went out on my own. People would see me just based on having been his assistant. And then eventually I went out on my own. Did pretty good for myself for quite some time, especially when I came to New York. Internationally published.
Well, I think
Had a pretty decent career. And then the whole industry kind of crashed with the whole digital photography and Instagram, the iPhone, and everybody's a photographer now. So it kind of became more like e-commerce I would do in the end. Still financially somewhat rewarding, but kind of crushing creatively. But hey, then anyway, so after all this happened, I veered towards portraiture. And to this day, that's what I much prefer doing over fashion.
Clarence, I know you know that crew personally, but the other people, do you like get to know them personally, or how long?
Some of them more than others, but overall, yes, I keep in touch with some of them. Certainly with this guy. On the far right, I know his whole family, his wife, the kids. Well, my colleagues I see every day. This guy I shot when he was sort of at that weird
A tipping point.
stage of like boy to man. But he was extremely, even as a kid, he was probably 16, if that at that point. Super confident, just full of himself, and in a good way.
that's
Now, so nowadays, he went on to like be a really angry rap kind of guy. And then he went on to be a very mellow, kind of hippie, acoustic guitar kind of guy.
formally though, that smoke, that moment is incredible.
I think like being in with the kids in the skate culture is probably difficult as it is, but could you give us a little bit of an idea how it was when you're being introduced to bikers who are probably even more clandestine in there?
And they're not necessarily all bikers, because they have tattoos, but some of them are. But they're very narcissistic. Of course, they will show off these intricate tattoos they have, and they're really willing to show what they got. They're the first ones to rip off the t-shirts. Makes it very easy. So, Clarence, and
Great. Well, I wanted to just bring a little context to stuff because he's saying this, but we do have Selena here, so if you wouldn't mind, not to put you on the spot, but do you remember, do you remember shooting with Clarence and what that first icebreaker was like?
It was really like an icebreaker. Like, it was on a bed for skating, and he just walked up to me and asked for a photo of I met somebody but I haven't seen in a while, so I was trying to talk to them. I'll take a picture with him. I didn't know it was a picture at the time when he taxed. But so I was like all over the place. I was just like a very like raw environment for me.
Okay. But now we have a testimony from somebody. Last time I had a question for the audience. On what side, right? You have tattoos, we have skates, we have security. I tried to get an idea if anybody saw any part of the wall, like I would like to hang out with that person. Anybody have?
Nancy.
Nancy hates her picture. She told me to burn it.
Like, before you got into the fashion photography, like, I'm interested kind of in how, like, in the early stages, like you started taking photos or you got interested in photography and then like sort of like the bridge into doing like the fashion stuff?
I love that question because I support. How did you all of a sudden end up in the room with cameras and
I'll answer that if you pour me a glass of wine. Hard, I don't really love to talk about, but here goes. So I'm originally from Berlin, West Berlin at the time, Germany. And in '83, the summer of '83, I went to New York City for the first time as a tourist. And it was a hot summer. And two friends of mine from Berlin had been guest DJing at the club called Danceteria. Kind of well known back then. And so I went out clubbing all the time. And one time at Danceteria, a bunch of Japanese folks came up to me and said, hey, we're shooting an editorial for a fashion magazine. We'd like you to be the model for it. And I didn't really know about modeling or that whole world at all. But I said, hey, okay, let's do it. And we did it, and then I went back to Berlin. Didn't think about it much at all. But then I got a telex, which at the time was like a fax today, like on the email. Like it was a telex. And it came from Tokyo. They said, hey, we like your look. You should go to Milan and get tear sheets and be a male model. And at the time I had lost my job, my girlfriend, my apartment even, I think. I was kind of broke. So I took like the equivalent of maybe $200 of unemployment and got on a night train to Milan. And I had one phone number. I called it and all worked out. I had a place to stay. A makeup artist let me stay, and then I took some test pictures with a bunch of photographers. Saw an agency. I was a model before you know it. And I did that for some years. It was like an extended adolescence, sort of. Well paid, I may add. And of course, I was exposed to photography all the time. And I didn't really pay a lot of attention. But towards the end of it, I started paying attention, and I went to Japan a couple of times, bought a camera out there. Then coming back to New York, I took some classes at like Tisch, I think, like darkroom developing, darkroom stuff. And then I started taking pictures of my friends, mostly models at the time. And before you know it, I had a portfolio. And then I showed that to people. Didn't lead to anything really. Then I moved back to Paris, and then I got a gig with that photographer assisting him. And then that led to the beginnings of a career.
Obviously, one question from our last session: what was it like transitioning to the other, to your left arm, as now you're photographer?
It's ongoing. It's not like it's going to be. It's never going to be like the way it was. I experience phantom pain daily, 24/7. That doesn't. It's not good. But hey, I'm here. I'm alive. My daughter has a dad.
He's supposed to take great pictures.
Doing photography.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It makes me think though that the photographer is in the eye and in the mind.
Right.
And not to say that you didn't have challenges otherwise.
Initially, I thought I would, but turns out not at all. It's The first time I went out, I had a tripod because I thought I would need it. Turns out I don't at all.
Thank you.
That's amazing body of work.
Thank you, Davis.